We've served over almost 100,000 families since '96. That is a huge amount of impact. And of course, we hope to serve well over 100,000 more in our next 30 years. But it's just remarkable, and it's one of my favorite marketing words ever. Remarkable, worthy of being shared, worthy of being talked about, and that's Camp Boggy Creek. Hello and welcome to the S'more Stories podcast, brought to you by Camp Boggy Creek near sunny Orlando, Florida. Founded by actor Paul Newman and General Norman Schwarzkopf, Camp Boggy Creek provides life-changing camp experiences to children with serious medical illnesses at zero cost to their families. In our podcast, we'll talk about the impact that recreational therapy has on children, stories of campers, their families, staff members, volunteers, and all who have been part of the magic that is Camp Boggy Creek. Enjoy the show, and hey, to learn more about Camp Boggy Creek, visit boggycreek.org.
Hello, and welcome to S'more Stories. I'm your host, Lizzie, and I have my wonderful supervisor, Tom, with me here today.
Wonderful. Wow.
Yeah. Wonderful, amazing. Thank you so much. How are you doing today, Tom?
Doing good. It's been a great day today. Got to spend a lot of time with you, Lizzie, and some of my amazing team members also recording some of the podcasts today as well. So it's always great for me to hear what's going on in their worlds and, the lives that we're touching every day.
Yeah. This is your number 6 of today? 5?
I think number 5, yeah.
Yeah, you're number 5 of today. So I just want to touch a little bit on your background, Tom. Let's get to know you. Where are you from, Tom?
So I was born in New London, Connecticut. So I'm actually a Yankee. But I've lived in Florida.
There's a lot here. There's a lot
of Yankees here. I've lived in Florida since I started high school. I went to Bishop Moore High School here in town I'm not going to tell you when, but I've been in Florida long enough to almost be a Florida native.
I think there's like a cutoff, like after a certain amount of years, you're just like a native.
Yeah.
Like you've been here long enough probably that you're Floridian.
I kind of am. And, the heat used to bother me, but now it's like you get so used to it that I don't mind it as much.
Yeah. I've lived in Florida my entire life, so I can't imagine leaving it.
Right.
But I think about that sometimes. I'm like, am I always going to be like, oh, I'm an explant? Like I'm from Florida, but I'm living here. And I think after a certain point, you hit that threshold where you're like, no, I'm now from here. It's official.
I'm committed.
I take ownership of that. I'm from here.
And I'm not going to say I'm always proud of that because we have our share of
You will be a Florida
craziness.
man if anything
right.
ever happens on the news.
That's
Florida
right.
man and then Tom.
Right. God forbid. So yeah, I graduated from Bishop Moore here. And then I went to, of all places, a Catholic seminary out in the woods in southern Indiana and studied to be a Catholic priest. And that was going fine until I met my wife, and that changed everything. So I graduated from that, BA in Communications and English, and the lights just flickered. It was a God thing. And then moved back to Orlando here, got married. I worked for the Catholic Church for quite a while, doing marketing and communications. Started my own business. It was a digital marketing agency, and I ran that for 16 years until I got bored, and I sold it. And after I sold it, I really didn't know what to do with myself, but I knew I needed something different, a change. And Dan, who you spoke with today, heard about me, reached out to me, and invited me to be Camp's chief marketing officer. So that's where I'm at. And I have to tell you, doing this every single day and not making people rich, but changing lives is a complete awesome difference.
Yeah, it's a different drive. You're not doing it to put money in somebody's pocket. You're giving in a different way.
Right.
They're getting a different type of richness. Let's put it that way. There's a different richness that's being received. You're enriching people's lives.
Yeah.
I guess that could be kind of what keeps you here. here at camp? Or is there another driving factor that's like, oh, this, because obviously everybody that I've spoken to so far, and we'll touch on this in a little bit, or that I'm in the right place moment. But what is also what keeps you and that drive, what keeps that drive fed, I guess?
That's a great question. I say, I call it fuel. Mm-hmm. And to me, the real fuel, I look forward to coming to work on Monday, which is an awesome feeling. And I have to tell you, the thing that keeps me going is being in my position. I see all the video footage. I see all the photos. I see all the joy. And I get to go, experience it with the campers. I get to go in the dining hall and feel the energy and see the smiles, and that is what keeps me going every single day. In fact, I was making a video for Dan, for one of our constituents last week, and I love making videos, but I have to, as you can imagine, you dig through so much B-roll and photos and to put this thing together. I find myself actually tearing up at my own video. And I think it's because I've been really blessed with 2 healthy kids. And I can't imagine one of my kids going through what some of these kids go through. And so the fact that we can bring joy to them, and the fact that I can, through my skill set, bring in more campers here that need it and deserve it. I can bring in more volunteers. That's part of my role. I bring in more donors. I'm able to get us seen. I'm able to get us on TV. I'm able to get us visibility that we didn't really have before.
That awareness, that awareness, and being able to literally help progress camp. Like, we're ever talking about expanding in a variety of ways, expanding in terms of our reach, how many campers we can get in, how many illnesses we can cater to, how many groups we can help. That's what the goal is, ever making sure that everybody who walks through these gates has a place here. Yeah. And they have the opportunity to experience it at any capacity, whether you said as a volunteer, as a donor, as a staff, as a camper, as a camp member's family, anything along those lines, and just be able to take this experience with them, or take even coming to camp one day and getting to just look around the facilities. I always talk about, you interviewed me the first day here, and we just did a tour of the facility, and within 5 minutes I was, this is the place for me. If he doesn't offer me the position, I'll honestly be heartbroken, because something feels right here. There is something right here. And I'll never forget, to your point, my first meeting was offsite, but when I came here for my second interview, I'll never forget parking my car down in the parking lot, getting out, and hearing the wind blow through the pine trees. And to me, for some reason, that was really powerful. It was a feeling of serenity, of peace, of feeling like I am in the right place, because I love nature. I love quiet. But it was a really amazing experience, just getting out of the car here for the first time. And I think the other thing that really keeps me fueled up is the energy that our team has and the love that they share for the mission. Yeah, I've gotten to, in this experience, in doing S'more Stories, I've gotten to speak with a vast majority of some of the staff, and it's a feeling. I remember having a separate conversation with Dan about, there's a feeling here at camp that each of us kind of possess, and being able to have that connection even within us, like you have that beautiful heart, that spirit, that everything. It's a feeling. Camp is a feeling. I remember I came here similarly to you. I love fall type, that little bit of chill, which once again, we're in Florida. It's seldom. So very seldom. Right. And I remember the day I came here was beautiful. It was a beautiful day. It was a little chilly, but it was beautiful. And once again, it just fostered that feeling of like, it feels so right to be here right now. I'm in the right spot.
I think one of the coolest things that I've seen when people come here is when a bus comes up, because we'll bus some kids up from South Florida, Miami area, for one of our cancer sessions. And that bus will come through those gates, and all of our team members are lining the sidewalk, and they greet these kiddos when they get here. And when those kids get off the bus, there's a sense of, it's like there's a confident strut, like when they set foot here, because think about this, they've been riding all the way up here with other kiddos with cancer, right? And they get to know each other, but when they get here, it's just pure magic. And it's like they know they belong, to your point, the second they get off the bus. And I've seen so many beautiful shots of the smiles on the faces when they come off. And it's really hard for them when they leave. You know, they get very, they're very attached to Camp Boggy Creek, and it's hard to go home. Hopefully, and you were talking about this earlier with one of my team members, they bring that joy with them, that blanket that comes from camp.
That blanket.
One quick story. So one of my team members is a camper recruiter, and she came to me and said, "Can we have some money?" And I said, "Well, we have budgets, and can be tight." And I was like, "What do you need?" And she says, "Well, one of our applicants for camp is back in the hospital and has cancer and is not doing well. And we would love to send this camper something special from Camp Boggy Creek." And I just thought, they're really busy people. And the fact that they took the time to think of that, and the fact that they wanted to send a Boggy Bear, which is handmade with love, and a card, which was signed by everybody, and she sent that to that camper in that hospital room. And that did a lot to me to know who I'm working with, right? Like, we have an expression, choose kindness, over here. And
it's a testament to that person's character.
Right.
And I think something I've noticed, being able to have this great opportunity to speak with a few of the team members at this point, they're such beautiful souls. Yeah. Like, genuinely such beautiful souls that we talk to and that we interact with. I've been so grateful to be in the room with these individuals and be able to have the experience of hearing their testimonies in regards to their experiences, hearing their knowledge, imparting knowledge or different perspectives. We've interviewed with team members who were at every sector: camper, volunteer, now working with the organization. And it's beautiful. And there's just that underlying character and that underlying feeling. That's how I explain it. The feeling and that passion for what is Camp Boggy Creek.
I've marketed a ton of things in my life, and I've been in marketing for probably, 30 years, maybe a little bit less. Let's go 28. And I've done everything from insurance companies to moving companies to you name it. I've probably marketed it in some, and even government agencies. But coming here,
we market ourselves.
This is a beautiful, this is every day. Marketing Camp Boggy Creek is a blessing. It's gold. And I'm not going to lie. Like, when we have a big bike kind of rally for the campers. It's been going on for 30 years. It's called the Ride for Children. And my first one was last year. I invited all kinds of media to come out because I've heard it's amazing. Like, I've never seen it. So our little side street, Brantley Branch Road, I'm standing out there with some of the cameramen from local television stations, and they turn down Brantley Branch Road, and you feel this thunder, and there are literally miles of motorcyclists coming into camp. So they come into camp, they drive all the way up to our cabins, and you know what? They sit here and give. and they're kind and they care about our mission. And just to watch not just the people that work here, but the people who love Camp Boggy Creek and what it stands for, that's amazing to me too, because it's not just the humans that work here. It's not just our volunteers. It's the people who are really moved by our mission. And, that mission is really simple. It's to provide children with life-changing free camp experiences where we can help keep them safe, both health-wise, but also mentally. So that mission, and if you think about it, sometimes it's a challenge because we want more kids here.
But you don't want to lose that personal feel.
Well, but it's also a shame that we have to have that many kids here.
Yeah. So it's a double-edged sword, right? In a way. Like, I wish I didn't have to have so many kids here. But also, I'm so grateful that I do get to cater to all of these children. Right. And I do get to be a part of this and help in any way, shape, or form. So while I wish and hope that this wasn't something I have to, this wasn't even something that was necessary, that would be the dream.
Right.
But I'm so grateful that I get to help in the reality.
Yeah. And I think if you rewind back, so camp was started in 1996. And I think that one of the most humbling stories to me that I've heard and read is there was this girl, Jennifer Massey, and she had cancer. And her parents had sent her to a camp up in Connecticut, which is a hole in the wall. And one of the first camps like ours that was built. She came back to Florida and said to her mom and dad, it'd be great if we had a place like this in Florida. And her mom and dad were really well-connected people. And somehow, some way, their network spread and Paul Newman got involved and Norman Schwarzkopf got involved. And for those of you who don't know, Paul Newman was a famous actor and a philanthropist, just a super amazing human. General Norman Schwarzkopf actually led the Gulf War in Iraq and was also renowned and an amazing person. But unfortunately, Jennifer never lived to come to Camp Boggy Creek. But I've listened to a lot of the Paul Newman tapes when he was here. And one I heard last week, he talks a lot about luck. And he talks a lot about how lucky he has been in his life, because he really was. He and his wife had basically a fairy tale, beautiful marriage, beautiful children. And he talks about how lucky he was and how unlucky our kids are and how much that sucks. But how cool it is that there are so many people that rally around those kids. And I think about that every day now. That's my focal point is, okay, these kids aren't the luckiest.
But I get to do something about it.
That's right. And we do, and we will, and we do it every day. And I have to tell you, the place is a machine. I've had a lot of my friends ask me about my job, and I'm like, yeah, well, there's 1,000 campers that are coming here this summer. There's 80 staff members, 78 staff members. There's 253 volunteers as of today that are all coming to be a part of this, to create this magic. And I think the neatest thing is it's not just about the kids' lives changing. It's about our volunteers' lives changing.
Yeah. I just got to talk with Allie about the volunteer experience, and genuinely, I think in every aspect, everybody's life is changed here at camp.
Yeah.
I think there's so many pieces of wisdom that are imparted on every single person, on the camper, on the family, on the volunteers, and there's so much opportunity. With Allie, I spoke about it. It's just it's a giving experience. You're being given so much in that experience once you realize the impact that you are also making.
Yeah.
You are getting skill sets that perhaps you wouldn't get elsewhere. You're learning empathy, kindness, how to use those skills more and more, how to combat certain situations, how to genuinely lead to a certain extent, how to be accommodating, how to communicate effectively, how to socialize more, network more even. And then you're also making these connections.
Right.
That I think is the most beautiful element of Camp Boggy Creek. Like the connection on every sector, the connection between volunteer and volunteer, the connection between volunteer and camper and camper, everybody is just interlocked and intertwined. That's why I think one of the most beautiful elements is just we're all just intertwined in a way that's so beautiful. And you're intertwined to Paul Newman even without even knowing it. Like his testimony of why he does it, his drive and his personal experiences are intertwined with you. You think about it every day. Those are intertwined with you. You made a connection.
And
never having met the man.
Correct.
But you made a connection.
And as I'm sitting here talking to you, I can see right behind you, there's a heart. So the common denominator, the common thread is truly ensuring that everyone that's here is loved and safe and respected. And I think that mantra, it's not just a saying. Like, these people are genuine. You know, I'm really good at spotting fake people, unfortunately.
It's a good skill.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Because I'll personally build a boundary around someone who I don't think is being 100% genuine. And anyway, that's for a whole other podcast.
It's fine. We'll get you again.
but I think that seriously, the love that's shared here, I don't know how you could not when you're here. I don't know how you. I don't even know how it's even possible.
I mentioned it a little bit earlier in passing. That has to help you in so many aspects because it's so easy to market something that's so genuine.
Yeah.
When something's so genuine, you don't even need to do that much. You're amazing at what you do. But camp speaks for itself.
It does.
To a certain extent. You just have to give them the tools to see camp. And that's what you do an amazing job of. But camp can speak and it's a testament to itself.
It is.
Coming here, if even in the videos you can see the sense of, as you said, when they even arrive on the buses, you see the wonder and the adventure in their eyes. Even when I walked in, I felt the wonder, the adventure in my eyes. I knew whatever I was walking, every single step I took towards the front building, I was like, oh, there's a sense of wonder here. Yeah. And I've just ran with it.
I think that's a great way to describe it. I was here with, it was unique. It was called Horse Talk TV. So we're kind of close to Ocala, where it's kind of like the horse capital of Central Florida. And this film crew wanted to capture some of our horses and some of our campers with the horses because they're doing a special. So I was with the lady around the stables. Oh my gosh, it was hot. It had to have been 115 degrees. I was just standing there sweating. But I remember there was this child. A lot of our kids come from, they come from not suburban. That's not what I'm trying to, like, they've never been out in the country. Yeah. Right? And so...
City.
Yeah. I just couldn't think of the word. But so a lot of them will come from the inner city. And this one girl was in a wheelchair. And I remember she didn't have shoes on, which she was supposed to have shoes on. And her feet touched the grass. And it was the first time this child's feet had ever touched grass.
Yeah.
And here we are. This is an 8-year-old kid. And I'm like, that blew my mind.
Yeah.
That experience, as simple and as minuscule as it sounds to you and me, that's the stuff you and I take for granted.
Yeah. I remember one day, the first time I visited the cabins with you, when I was doing my tour, I remember talking about the fact that some of these children have never had the opportunity to even make their bed, which is a chore to me, right. And I personally don't like doing.
Right. Nobody does.
But some of them do love that they get to do that here because they don't have that sense of ownership for their responsibilities.
Yeah.
Or they don't have that opportunity to do those things. And that's something me and you, we literally just said it. Nobody likes that.
Right.
In the sense of, I don't like making my bed. I do it, but I don't like it all the time. And they find such a sense of ownership and like,
it's like joy in the monotony.
Yeah. Joy in the most simple, like I would be like, I don't want to make my bed while I'm at camp.
And think about it this way too, though. What you said is very true. Some of them have never had the opportunity, but a lot of the times the parents don't want the child to be bothered.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, all the emotions that are going on, all of the protecting the child, all of the, thank God I really try to put myself in those shoes, and thank God I've never had to be in those shoes.
I want them to have the easiest way possible because what they're going through daily
100%.
Is so difficult.
So that's what they're dealing with when they come here.
Yeah.
Right? So they've never done things like that because they've never had to. And giving them that responsibility, if you'll call it that, is like, it's like huge to them. They will scramble from the dining hall, and I've seen this, to go back to their cabin to clean it up because they'll get an award if they have the cleanest cabin.
Yeah.
And, they want to do it. They're they're just aching to do it because it's something they've never gotten to do. So the point of that, there's all kinds of firsts that happen here. The first time touching grass, the first time swimming in a pool. And it sucks that they can't do these things in real life or
that they don't have the opportunity to do it frequently.
Correct.
Like, this is, even sometimes if it's not the first, it's not a frequency.
Right.
They can perhaps only get in the pool when they come here. They can perhaps only ride a horse because there's not always accommodations when they come here. So it's also amazing that we get to be the place that they can keep on coming back and keep on having those experiences.
Right, and not worry about it.
Yeah.
And
like, I know that I'll be able to next summer go in the pool again.
Right.
Or if I want to come back for a fall little retreat, I'll be able to get in the pool, or I'll be able to ride the horse again, or I'll be able to do those things. It's amazing that we get to do it not only for the first, but also for the first and every after.
Right. And the other neat thing about the way that our programs team rolls, nothing is ever required of a child. Like if they're not up to it and they don't want to do it, we're never like pushing them. It's,
you have to get in the pool today.
Yeah, no, you make your own decisions. And we of course want to encourage you to have the time of your life. And most embrace that. But if there's fear or trepidation, we're not sitting here pushing them out into here, jump in the swimming pool. Good luck. So I think that's really awesome too. I think
they get
to
do it. Yeah, they get to do it on their terms as well.
Right.
They have a voice. We spoke a little bit about this earlier when I was speaking with, I think, Maddie. There's a level of responsibility, as you spoke about it, and also, I'm seen and heard and visible and valued. I'm all of those things when I'm at camp. If I say that I don't want to do something, I'm heard. Right. And I'm validated, and that feeling is respected, and I have authority over that experience for myself. And a lot of the times there's things that are out of their control.
Right. But that power that we give them over themselves enables them to walk out of here and hopefully be better prepared for their next treatment, or better prepared for, God forbid, a time they get bullied, or better prepared for wanting to do another first outside of camp, like maybe taking dance class or, whatever the example is. We're helping to set the stage for that.
We're empowering.
Right. And, I've been made fun of by a few of my friends. Oh, you work at a camp? I'm like, yeah.
It's awesome here.
But you can't explain it, right? Like the things that happen here, this isn't just
it's a feeling.
It's not a campground, right?
Yeah.
It's a place full of experiences. It's a place full of firsts. It's a place full of charity and love and life-changing experiences. So I think that, the last bit of reflection that I think about this a lot too. I think about the fact that camp is free. It costs us probably around $3,500 per child per week. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we get about 125 to 150 campers at our peak for each session. So if you do the math on that, it's a lot of money.
It's a steep number.
I'm not mathing in the afternoon, but it's a lot of money. So
it's been a long day. We don't have to math.
That's right. Excessive mathing. But I think the amazing thing about this place, one of the other amazing things, is that people give so freely and give to our mission, and know that the money that they donate here is changing a life. And I can confidently say that in all of my marketing messages, that your gift, your donation, your volunteer time is literally changing a life.
Yeah.
Not all nonprofits can say that. And I can say that with confidence every single time I push it. We've served over almost 100,000 families since 96. That is a huge amount of impact. And of course, we hope to serve well over 100,000 more in our next 30 years. But it's just remarkable. And it's one of my favorite marketing words ever, remarkable, worthy of being shared, worthy of being talked about. And that's Camp Boggy Creek.
Yeah, definitely. I love being able to be a voice and an outlet for camp myself. Like, that's I'm always like, I work for this amazing cause.
And we're so glad you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I work with this amazing cause that it's not just camp. That's the thing. Anybody who just sees it as just a camp, they need to feel the feel. They're eventually going to feel the feeling. And that's what I think you try and impart on people. We're trying to help everybody grasp the gravity and the impact that is camp.
Right.
And we're just trying to impart that knowledge because we love it here. We feel the feeling. I would love to give, as you said, everybody the feeling of what it is Camp Boggy Creek.
Yeah. And it empowers everyone to love, treat others with respect, and keep each other safe. And I think that's the true beauty of everything that camp touches. And I want to thank you very much for what you do, and for spending your day with us. And also, I want to shout out to Mason, our audio editor, who does an amazing job for us. And he lives in Minnesota, so he's probably freezing right now. But just a superhuman being, and I'm very grateful for you as well, Mason.
Yeah, I'm grateful that I get this experience every day, and I'm grateful that I got to talk to you, Tom.
It was a blast.
It was a blast. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much for listening to S'more Stories and for sharing this podcast with a friend. To learn more about Camp Boggy Creek and its year-round programming, ways to get involved, or ways to give, visit boggycreek.org. Thanks again for listening and for sharing the magic that is Camp Boggy Creek.